In today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show, I'm going to provide you guys with a general market overview and discuss where I believe the market is headed next. And we are going to be discussing Cronos as well, which has seen a 54% gain over the past year. And we have just seen the Crypto.com and the Cronos team launch the Cronos hyperchain in middle of August. So I want to kind of update you guys on, how this chain has been performing since it's gone live and what it could mean for the future of the Cronos ecosystem and Crocoin. Now, before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor, nor do I offer any sort of financial advice on YouTube. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. And if you do find the content informative, entertaining, maybe even both, please consider hitting that sub and like button and turn that notification bell on so you can be notified when all of our latest videos go live on the channel. So as always with our videos, we are going to start off with the general market overview, then get into the altcoin specific news, which will be focused on Crocoin and the Cronos ecosystem with the launch of this Cronos hyperchain. I kind of just want to take a look at the metrics now that it's been about 2 weeks since its launch. And yeah, we're going to do that later on in the video. But first, we can take a look at the altcoin market on the day. And you can see here that aside from a couple of exceptions, most of the market is pulling back in the high single digit to mid double digit range. So we can see Phantom down 12%, Injective down 9.7%, Solana down 5.7%, Matic down 10%, Bitcoin and ETH pulling back 4.3% and 3.2% respectively. Maker down 11.8%, Tau 7.5%, and then we have Dogs and Popcat actually up 23.9% and 6.2%. I did discuss on the channel in my previous video. We have Fetch.ai token, which did actually rebrand to ASI recently, up 42.2%, Render up 30.3%. Stacks up 12.7%, Floki and Popcat up 30.7% and 66.4% respectively. Chainlink up 11%, AVAX 3.4%, so pretty mixed bag on the week. And then on the month here, once again, I mean, majority of these altcoins are still deep in the red on the month with a couple of exceptions like Aave, Helium. I believe this is the Huobi token, and then Tron as well, up 14%. So, I want to take a look at the overall kind of situation that the market is, or the current environment of the market, and then yeah, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at the altcoin market as we always do, and kind of talk about what I'm looking for moving into Q4. So for starters, Bitcoin here after challenging the upper band of the bull market support band at about 64,000, it has actually pulled back, as we said, down about 4.5% on the day, and actually testing a key area of support once again at the $59,000 range. Now you can actually see here, if we go ahead and take a look at the previous bull market, that this 59,000 zone, 59.5K, actually acted as some big resistance here on the way up. It also acted as support when Bitcoin actually did get above it here in October of 2021. And yeah, if we actually take a look here at this bull market, once again, it broke above it, had been back tested as support, and it's kind of been range bound here, right? We did see that dip down to 49.5K earlier in August. It made a nice move back to the upside, and we are retesting that $59,000 zone. Now, to put things into perspective, right, if we actually measure Bitcoin's performance from its all-time high, which it did put in March, it's done about 20%. So this is pretty typical of bull markets. Again, like I've been saying, I do still believe that we are kind of in, phase 2 of phase 3 of the bull market. I do think that, I still believe that we have 2025 to go for this bull market to actually play out, and that these 20 to 30% declines are to be expected from Bitcoin in bull cycles. And you just have to figure that if Bitcoin is going to decline, 20 to 30%, that the altcoin market is most likely going to be declining, anywhere from 40, 50, even 60% on some altcoins, okay? And that's just the nature of the market. So we can also take a look at Bitcoin dominance, which I want to discuss as well. This has been a chart that we've been keeping an eye on for majority of the bull market. I've been of the opinion that, Bitcoin is going to outperform most of the altcoin market, and that if you want to make money in the altcoin market this cycle, and by making money, I mean, outperforming Bitcoin, you got to be more selective. I don't think this is going to be like the last market cycle where you can basically just throw money at any altcoin and it's going to go up. I think that we do have to be more selective with our altcoins this cycle, and the Bitcoin dominance chart is a pretty good indicator of that, up 42% from the beginning of the bull market, effectively indicating that Bitcoin has in fact outperformed majority of altcoins. However, I do believe that this outperformance from Bitcoin is more than likely, coming to an end in Q4, maybe even Q1 of 2025. I do expect it to top out at about that 60% range, and it's currently sitting at 57%. So I do think that Bitcoin's outperformance is kind of in its final leg before we see the altcoin market take off, which does also align with kind of like the final phase of bull markets where altcoins do tend to outperform. And in my opinion, it does make sense from a liquidity perspective, as all the money that's been made in Bitcoin, could potentially see itself shuffling to the altcoin market. Now, if we take a look at the altcoin market, I mean, you're going to notice here, if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart for starters, and then take a look at the total 3, which is the total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and Ether. I mean, the Bitcoin chart looks much better than the altcoin market, okay? The altcoin market has still not made a new high from its 2021 cycle. In fact, it's still down about 50% from those levels. And even from the high that it made back in March, it is still down here about 27%. So overall, bleeding out more than Bitcoin. Also at the bottom range of its bull market support band in this downtrend that began with the local top back in March. So, even from March, like, altcoins have been in a downtrend for the past 6 months, give or take 5-6 months. And this is the total market, obviously. So again, there are selective altcoins that have been outperforming Bitcoin. A few of them which we have been covering on the channel, like Solana, like Render. However, in today's video, I do want to talk about Crocoin. I think this is a good time to kind of hop on and talk about this altcoin now. And similar story here for Crocoin that it is for most altcoins, up 54% over the past year. But in that same time period, Bitcoin is up a lot more than that, if I'm not mistaken. So we can actually go ahead. Yeah, Bitcoin's up 117%, right? And you can see here some of the other altcoins that have well outperformed Crocoin's 54% gain. Now, the Cronos team does continue to build here, and they have actually just announced, sorry, not just announced, it was announced back in mid-August, the first Layer 2 ZK chain, alongside at ZK Sync Era. This is their Cronos hyperchain, and they do have a full blog post over here about what exactly they are looking to solve with this. So we can see here, testnet was launched in December 2023, saw more than 3 million unique addresses, processing millions of transactions. This is the latest network of the Cronos project, who has partnered with Crypto.com. I believe the Cronos team is really just a team within Crypto.com. Crypto.com is the centralized exchange side of things. Cronos is the decentralized chain side of things. Cronos ZK EVM will coexist with the Cronos POS chain and the Cronos EVM chain. So we can actually go ahead and see here that they basically talk about some of the big sort of like benefits of actually using the Cronos chain, of the new Cronos hyperchain. And I don't want to talk about that in this video. We have covered in previous videos, kind of like the benefits of the Cronos hyperchain, some of the things they are looking to solve within the DeFi space. What I want to take a look at today is how has this chain actually been adopted since its launch, okay? Because, since its launch in mid-August, I mean, the price action of Crocoin has been pretty lackluster overall, right? I mean, the announcement was made on the 15th of August. We are at 8.7 cents. Now we are at 8.1. So, down about 10% from the actual launch of the Cronos hyperchain. And we can see here that so far there have been 161,000 transactions, 6,000 total unique addresses. And yeah, I mean, if we just take a look at it from a metrics perspective, the adoption of this chain has been pretty slow so far, okay? It definitely has not been like an incredible launch for the new Cronos hyperchain. If we actually go ahead and take a look here, if we go ahead and scroll down on DeFi Llama, we're going to try and find where the Cronos ZK EVM chain ranks in TVL. Yeah, and it ranks in 82nd place with 20.13 million in TVL. Now, the Cronos chain, the original Cronos EVM chain, the layer 1 is actually sitting in 19th with 510 mil. And this was top 10 at one point. So it would appear like a lot of the Cronos ecosystem has kind of fallen behind in terms of that TVL. You know, we have Ether at 85.46 billion. We have Solana at 10.36 billion. Yeah, you can kind of work your way down the list there and see that Cronos, the layer 1, does fall into 19th with that 510 mil in TVL. So overall, I mean, you know, the Cronos chain, it does have pretty much everything you would want or need with a certain chain. I just think that it has kind of fallen behind in terms of that user adoption. And that's why I'm not really so focused on the Cronos chain anymore, and rather more so focused on Crypto.com and how they can incentivize people to actually use their platform to buy Crocoin. And that's an important distinction to kind of make, because the growth of Crypto.com has been really amazing, right? You know, even throughout the bear market, they just continue to build. But just because people are downloading Crypto.com, just because Crocoin is the face of, you know, Crypto.com, it's their native altcoin, it doesn't mean that everybody downloading this platform is buying Crocoin itself, right? They do have some platforms like the Crypto.com Metal Visa, Crypto.com Pay, and on the exchange, they actually let you stake your Crow for some trading benefits. So I mean, they do have some sort of like incentives for people to buy Crocoin, but if they could make even more of that to help out the price action of this altcoin, you know, I definitely do think it could be beneficial if they are willing to offer some serious incentives for people who are buying Crow. Now, I do want to take a look at the chart as well to wrap things up. If we take a look at the past year for this altcoin in terms of the price performance, I mean, you know, as we said, up about 54%. However, below a key area of support at the 10-cent range. Okay, we can see here that in late 2023, this coin went on about 140% run from 5 cents up to 12.5, pulled back to the bull market support band, went on another 140% run, give or take, pulled it back to the bull market support band. However, this time it broke down at that level. It did not actually, you know, reclaim or bounce off of that as a level of support, and we are now below the 10-cent level. So what I am looking for from Crocoin, just really two big things. Okay, the first thing here would either be a potential retest of 7.5 cents, and then to the upside would be reclaiming the 10-cent level. And if we are able to get at 10 cents and hold above it, that is also where the bull market support band has come down to as the price action has came down. You know, that is when I do think we could see some further upside for this altcoin. But until then, I am still looking at that 7.5 cent range to 10-cent zone. So on that note, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. I hope you are all staying happy, safe, and healthy, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.